Other prose poems. The Deserts of Love. Forward. These are the writings of a very young man who has grown up anywhere, without mother, without country, indifferent to everything other people know, fleeing all moral courage, like many other pitiful young men before him. But he, so full of anxiety and so troubled, did nothing but set his course toward death, as toward a terrible and fatal decency. Not having loved women, full-blooded though he was, his soul and his heart, all his strength, were taken up with aberrations, strange and sad. The following dreams, his loves, that came to him in his beds and in the streets, and from their sequence and from their endings sweet religious considerations may arise. Who will recall the continuous sleep of the legendary Mohammedans, brave though and uncircumcised? But this fantastic suffering, possessing a disturbing sovereignty, it is sincerely to be hoped that this soul, among us lost, and who desires death, it seems, should meet at that instant authentic consolations and be worthy. The Deserts of Love. This time it is the woman whom I saw in the city, and to whom I have spoken and who speaks to me. I was in a room without light. They came to tell me she was there, and I saw her in my bed, all mine, without light. I was troubled, and largely because it was my parents' house, so anguish filled me. I was in rags while she, a woman of the world, was giving herself to me. She would have to go away. A nameless anguish. I took her and let her fall from the bed almost naked, and, in my unutterable weakness, I fell upon her and rolled with her on the rugs without light. The family lamp reddened one by one the adjoining rooms. Then the woman disappeared. I shed more tears than God could ever have required. I went out into the city without end. O weariness, drowned in the insensible light and in the flight of happiness. It was like a winter night with a fall of snow to smother the world once and for all. The friends to whom I cried, "Where is she?" falsely replied, "I was there in the front of the windows where she goes every evening. I was running through a buried garden. They drove me away." At all this I wept prodigiously. Finally I went down into a place filled with dust, and, sitting on some lumber, I drained my body of all its tears that night. And yet always my exhaustion returned. I understood that she belonged to her everyday life, and that it would take longer for the turn of kindness to come again than for the reproduction of a star. She has not returned and will never return, the adorable one who visited me in my home, something I should never have presumed to ask. True, this time I wept more than all the children in the world. The Deserts of Love, too. It is certainly the same countryside, the same rustic house of my parents, even the same room where the overdoors and russet sheepfolds with lions and coats of arms. At dinner there is a room with candles and wines and antique paneling. The dining table is very large. The servants, there were several as far as I can remember. One of my young friends of old was there, a priest and dressed like a priest, at present for the sake of greater freedom. I remember his purple room with yellow paper panes and his hidden books that had soaked in the sea. As for me, I was abandoned in that country house without end, reading in the kitchen, drying the mud of my clothes in front of the guests with their drawing-room conversation, mortally troubled by the murmur of the milk in the morning and the night of the last century. I was in a very dark room. What was I doing? A little servant girl came toward me, a puppy, I should say. Notwithstanding, she was beautiful, noble, and maternal beyond words to me. Pure, familiar, altogether charming. She pinched my arm. I can no longer remember even her face very well, much less her arm whose flesh I rolled between my fingers, nor her mouth which mine seized like a desperate little wave, endlessly lapping. I flung her onto a basket of cushions and sailcloth in a dark corner, and I remember nothing but her white drawers trimmed with lace. Then, oh despair! The wall became dimly the shadow of trees, and I was plunged in the amorous sadness of the night.